This is basically my setup that I use when I'm out in the prairie dog town. Of course, I don't have my earplugs on, my glasses on, and my hat for the sun. I hope to make no big noises in my house. This is my AR. I've got about halfway along where I want it. When I first shot it, it's just a standard mil-specs AR. It's a Remington R15. Terrible trigger, 6-7 pounds. It had no muzzle brake. It is a 22-inch barrel. I like that, and it's 1-in-9 twist. I can shoot 50s and 55s pretty easily and reasonably accurate now. Before, with the trigger, I couldn't get a good constant pull with it. I went to the SHOT Show this last January. I met up with a company called Hyperfire. Their website is hyperfire.com. I ended up with their trigger, which is called a HyperTouch 24. The HyperTouch 24 stands for 3 sets of springs to adjust the trigger pull. There's no other adjustments to it. You got one for 2 pounds, one for 3 pounds, one for 4 pounds, approximately. Since I had such a heavy pull, I selected to put in the 2 pound. I might go to the 3 pound. I've shot it several times now. 2 pound might be a little light, but once I get a good stock installed, I think that's going to be much better. Right now the stock is too short and I can't get down on the rifle real well. I put in the 2 pound springs, and all you do is change out the springs to get the different pull. As good as the 2 pound is, I might even go to the 4 pound after a while. In Vietnam, both M16s I had over there were atrocious, but you don't worry about trigger pull. It's a lot of times spray and pray. But the HyperTouch it's an adjustable trigger for the AR-15, AR-10. It'll work in either one. I used to be a company and a battalion armor. It only took me about 10 minutes to put it in. Because I was an armor, that might help. But I not only looked at the instructions, I also went online at hyperfire.com and looked at, I think at the time, 2 videos on there. They just assured how I thought it went together. And it was reasonably easy. I think it took, like I said, 10 minutes. That made a big difference. HyperTouch 24. They had several different ones. I chose this one, and I think it was around $186. I think it was a good choice. I haven't used any of their others. First problem I had to solve was the trigger. I finally got that solved. I put a muzzle brake on it to stop the muzzle jump. Solved that problem. But the one problem I haven't solved yet is the stock. It is too short and I can't get it into my shoulder well. Now on this setup, it really doesn't make that much difference because you're set up using the rest to do all of your adjustments, and you can do real well with this rest. But not all the time do I use this rest. Sometimes I use the vehicle. Sometimes I use the window of the vehicle. Then is when I can't get a good rest in my shoulder pocket to get a good cheek weld. What you're looking for is to look straight down the scope. Looking straight down the scope, you get your most better and your best accuracy. When I'm on this, because of my long neck, long body, I'm almost 6'4", I'm looking in that scope at an angle. That angle, many times, gives me a high shot. I know that. I have to adjust it back. In the next video I'm going to do, I'm going to show you where I got a completely different stock configuration with an adjustable buttstock that fits into your shoulder, raises the back of the rifle up to where you're looking straight into the scope. I have no doubt it's going to make a lot of difference in my accuracy. This one probably will be on my YouTube in a couple, 3 days. I'll work on the other one, and it's mostly replacing the whole stock with an adjustable stock. I think it's a Magpul stock. And another guy has invented a butt stock that fits on it that's adjustable in the vertical. Big deal. Now I can get that rifle up because of my long neck. I can get that rifle up to where I'm shooting straight down the scope and sighting straight down the scope. Granted, you're not looking at that much of an angle when you look down, but it is. And if you take some pictures and look at some of your old pictures, you're going to see you're looking down in that scope at an angle. That's going to raise the muzzle. Something to think about. I'll get back next time, 4 or 5 days. I'll do the video on the buttstock with it all put together. See you guys another time. Going to be heading out here pretty soon for another prairie dog shoot in Wyoming. I think I'm at 37, 35 on the varmints for this year. Should be able to make 4,000 and a little more. Reasonably easy. Thank you.